Welcome back! Thanks for joining us today. I'm Brittany from Hawaii Wedding Studio, and today we're diving into the absolute essentials of Hawaii beach wedding attire. We're talking about how to stay cool, look incredible, and avoid those classic wardrobe oh no's on the sands of Oahu. Whether you're the one saying I do, or you're cheering from the front row, we've got you covered. All right, let's get engaged.
Rolling back, trying to talk into facts. Stay a while, press and play. You're smart, great every day.
You know that incredibly specific moment you arrive in Honolulu?
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say.
Right, like you step off the plane and you've got this vivid vision of paradise in your head, the gentle tropical breeze, maybe a ukulele playing in the distance, just total romance.
Yeah, the whole postcard fantasy.
Exactly. And then the automatic doors slide open at the airport and bam!
The wall of water just hits you.
It is a literal physical force. I mean, you're immediately struck by 80% humidity. It wraps around you like this warm, wet blanket.
It really does.
And if you're anything like me, standing there in your mainland travel clothes, maybe some heavy denim or, I don't know, a dark sweater because it was 40 degrees when you left Chicago, you instantly realize you have made a terrible, terrible tactical error.
Which is honestly the ultimate reality check for anyone planning an event out here. You pack your bags thinking purely about the aesthetics, right?
Right, yeah.
The photos you want to take.
The Pinterest board.
Exactly. But the second you land, the priority shifts entirely to atmospheric survival.
Atmospheric survival. I love that. And that actually brings us directly to the mission for today's deep dive. We are talking about Hawaii beach wedding attire.
Yes, a very crucial topic.
Specifically, how to look incredibly sharp without physically melting into a puddle on the island of Oahu. So, pull up a beach chair. Because if you are planning your own tropical elopement, or maybe you're packing to attend as a guest, or honestly, if you're just sitting there on the sand with us today and you just love decoding the crazy logistics behind major events, this is your ultimate survival guide.
We are officially mastering the art of elevated casual today.
Elevated casual, yes. And to crack the code on this, we actually pulled together a really fascinating stack of sources.
We really did. We're synthesizing this very comprehensive boots-on-the-ground blog guide covering Oahu beach attire specifically. Plus, we're looking at a deep well of historical Honolulu weather data to, understand the actual science of the climate.
Gotta have the data.
Always. Visually, we brought in this stunning Pinterest pin from Mercedes Olsen Photography that captures a very specific Oahu beach aesthetic. And finally, to really understand the logistics, we're combing through a massive collection of first-hand reviews from couples married by Reverend James Chun.
And I have to say, looking at that weather data, there is a massive twist coming later about the actual best time of year to get married here.
Oh yeah, that completely threw me.
It totally blew up everything I thought I knew about tropical weddings. We'll get into that in a bit. But before we can even debate fabrics or shoes, we have to talk about what we're actually walking into.
The elements.
Right. We cannot strategize a wardrobe without understanding the battlefield. And the battlefield here is the Oahu elements.
So true. And I mean, Honolulu sits in a highly specific climate zone. The meteorological data basically classifies it as a tropical savanna climate.
Which sounds intense.
It is. What that means structurally is that it has a distinct wet and a dry season rather than, 4 traditional seasons. But the key takeaway for anyone standing on a beach in a suit is the sheer consistency of the heat.
Like it never really stops.
Exactly. Historical weather data shows high temperatures just hovering right between 75 and 81.5 degrees Fahrenheit literally all year long.
Which is so deceptive because, I mean, on paper, if I see 80 degrees, I'm thinking, oh, that's a perfect late spring day back home.
Right. You think it's perfectly mild.
Yeah. I'm thinking I can wear a light jacket. 80 degrees sounds incredibly manageable.
It does, until you factor in the moisture retention of the air. The humidity sits right around 74 to 76% practically the entire year.
Just heavy.
Super heavy. The air is physically thicker. And you have to consider the ocean itself, which acts essentially as this massive thermal blanket surrounding the island. The sea temperatures range from about 75.7 degrees up to over 80 degrees.
So the water isn't exactly giving off this crisp, cooling breeze.
Not at all.
It's radiating more warmth. But here's the thing about Oahu that I found so interesting in our sources. It's not just one uniform flat beach with the exact same weather everywhere.
Oh, far from it.
Yeah.
The island is essentially this network of dramatically different microclimates. Where you stand dictates the elements you face.
Right.
For example, look at Magic Island, which is a man-made peninsula right by Waikiki.
Right.
If your ceremony is there, you are dealing with intense, unrelenting, direct heat.
Because there's no cover. Right?
Exactly. The ground is largely sand and concrete pathways, which just reflect the sun's rays right back up at you. There is virtually no natural shade canopy.
But then, you hop in a car, you drive an hour up to the North Shore, and it is a completely different physical experience.
Completely different. Take Turtle Bay, for instance. We analyzed that Pinterest pin from Mercedes Olsen Photography, capturing a Turtle Bay wedding ceremony.
Such a gorgeous photo, by the way.
Visually breathtaking. You see the groom, Camus, smiling as his bride, Keely, walks down the aisle. But from a meteorological standpoint, what you're actually witnessing is the sheer force of the elements.
Yeah, you can almost see the wind in the picture.
Because Turtle Day is fully exposed to the Pacific, meaning the trade winds whip across that point relentlessly.
Okay, let me try to put this all together into a picture for you listening. Dressing for an Oahu beach wedding isn't like dressing for a normal outdoor event.
No, not at all.
It's more like, okay, imagine trying to look ready for a red carpet. Wait, I mean a red carpet that is located entirely inside a humid greenhouse.
Yes, and someone has placed a massive industrial fan, blowing at high speed, directly at you from the side.
Exactly, the greenhouse with the industrial fan, which is exactly why I struggle with the whole concept of beach wedding attire.
It's a confusing dress code.
It really is. Part of me hears beach and thinks, amazing, I'm wearing board shorts, a tank top, and flip-flops. We're in the sand.
Right, total vacation mode.
But the other extreme is the societal expectation of a wedding, black tie, rigid formality. Trying to force either of those onto this island just seems like a recipe for a really bad time.
Taking mainland rules and just dropping them into a tropical savanna is exactly how you end up ruining your own day.
Let's break down the physical pitfalls, actually, starting with what the blog guide highlights as a very common, very literal misstep.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
The tragedy of the stilettos.
Oh, man. Picture this scenario. You are a guest, or God forbid, maybe even the bride. You spent weeks picking out these stunning 4-inch needle-thin heels.
They look great in the box.
Oh, they belong in a museum. But you get out of the car, you take one confident step off the pavement and onto the Oahu sand, and physics immediately betrays you.
Instantly.
All your body weight is concentrated on this 1/4-inch piece of plastic. You plunge ankle deep into the earth. You are stuck, wobbling around like a flamingo trying to balance in a marsh.
It is a biomechanical nightmare. I mean, the blog guide explicitly stresses that heels are useless on soft sand. Totally useless.
Not only does the abrasive sand ruin the expensive material of the shoe, but it destroys your posture. You spend a 20-minute ceremony fighting just to keep your ankles from rolling.
Then, looking at the other end of the disaster spectrum, we have the groom.
Oh, the poor groom.
The poor, well-intentioned groom who decides he needs to honor the gravity of the day by wearing a traditional, heavy 3-piece wool suit, complete with leather dress boots.
Let's apply the data to that outfit for a second. Wool is a dense fiber naturally designed by sheep to trap air and retain body heat.
Right.
He is wearing a literal heat-trapping mechanism in 80-degree weather with 75% humidity.
He is a walking sauna. I mean, he is sweating completely through the wool, turning it into this heavy, damp sponge before the bride has even made it down the aisle.
It's painful to even think about.
And those heavy leather boots on the beach, it's visually jarring. You look like a lumberjack who took a wrong turn in Seattle and ended up next to a palm tree.
Which is the exact reason the guide advocates so strongly for a style philosophy called elevated casual.
Elevated casual, okay.
Yeah, it's a deliberate pivot designed to survive that greenhouse and fan environment we talked about.
Yeah.
Let's look at how the bride handles this. The most critical decision she makes is fabric.
Because if she chooses heavy Duchess satin or thick structural lace...
It acts like armor.
Yeah.
Heavy satin clings to the skin, gets incredibly stiff, and basically prevents the body's natural cooling process, which is sweat evaporation, from occurring at all.
Yeah, you're just trapped in there.
Exactly. So the guide points toward lightweight, breathable materials. Chiffon, charmeuse, crepe, or a very soft organza.
I imagine those fabrics also just look better in the specific environment, right? Like when that industrial fan, the trade winds hits you, chiffon actually moves. It catches the breeze instead of fighting it.
Form follows function. And the same logic applies to the dress silhouette. The guide recommends A-line or empire waists. Think about navigating that uneven sand. You need freedom of movement in your knees and legs.
Right, you can't be restricted.
A tightly restrictive mermaid gown makes walking across a dune nearly impossible.
Okay, but we also need to talk about the hair, because we established that the trade winds at places like Turtle Bay, they just do not stop.
Oh, the hair is crucial. Loose, flowing hair cascading down your back looks phenomenal in a staged, static photograph.
Sure.
But during a 20-minute ceremony with continuous wind, it transforms into a literal blindfold.
Oh my gosh, yes, just whipping across your face.
The guide strategy here is purely functional half-up styles, soft braids, or a low chignon. Anchor the hair so it stays out of your eyes and out of your lip gloss.
Very smart. And for the footwear, are we just surrendering to the sand?
Basically, yeah. Flat sandals or wedges distribute your weight evenly. Or, honestly, the most authentic option is just going barefoot.
I love that.
Right, just embrace the tactile experience of the environment.
I am fully on board with the barefoot bride in flowing chiffon. She looks incredible, and more importantly, she is actually comfortable. But I am still worried about our sweating groom. How do we save him from the wool suit? I know linen is the go-to, but as someone who hates looking messy, linen terrifies me.
Really?
Yeah, it wrinkles if you just look at it wrong.
Well, you have to understand the mechanics of linen to really appreciate it. It is woven from the stalks of the flax plant. The fibers are hollow, and the weave is naturally stiffer than cotton, meaning it doesn't cling to your skin.
Oh, interesting.
It creates this micro layer of airflow around your body. So yes, a linen suit in white, cream, light gray, or a soft sage green is definitely going to wrinkle.
Which, in a corporate boardroom looks terrible.
You aren't in a boardroom. The guide emphasizes that on a beach, the natural wrinkling of linen actually adds structural character.
Okay.
It signals intentional relaxation.
Yeah.
It communicates, I respect the occasion enough to wear a tailored suit, but I am attuned to the fact that we are standing next to the Pacific Ocean.
I love that framing. It's a feature, not a bug.
Exactly.
And what if a full suit is still too much for the groom?
A high-quality, tailored aloha shirt.
Okay.
You tuck it neatly into cotton or linen trousers. But the critical caveat from the guide here is the pattern. You are looking for refined, subtle botanicals, no bright neon novelty prints.
Right. You want to look like you're getting married, not like you're heading to a Jimmy Buffett tailgate party.
Precisely.
Let's pivot to the guests, because receiving an invitation with the dress code Hawaii casual or beach formal induces instant panic for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. For women attending, the midi or maxi dress is really the most strategic choice. It offers elegance while allowing for airflow.
But the wind factor is crucial here too, right?
Very much so. The guide warns against heavy dangling embellishments that the breeze can catch awkwardly, and heavily advises against tight bodycon dresses that restrict your ability to actually walk on the beach.
Makes sense.
And, of course, the universal wedding law remains absolutely no white or ivory.
Obviously. And for the guys attending, I'm going to push back again here. Can I really not just wear a nice tailored pair of shorts? I mean, it's 80 degrees.
According to the sources, shorts are strictly forbidden.
Seriously?
Collared shirts and linen or cotton trousers. Clean loafers or boat shoes. Unless the couple has explicitly stated on the invitation that shorts are permitted, you must assume full-length pants are required.
Wow, okay.
It is about maintaining that elevated part of elevated casual.
Fine, I will wear the pants. But I have a practical timeline question. We have been focusing heavily on the heat of the midday sun. Does the strategy change if the ceremony is at sunrise or twilight?
The blog actually provides some excellent operational advice for this. Early morning ceremonies in Honolulu can actually feel surprisingly brisk before the sun clears the horizon.
Really?
Yeah, if you are attending a 7 kmo a.m. event, you should strategically layer your clothing.
But regardless of the time of day, there's one step in the guide that I think is absolute genius, and it happens before you even touch your clothes.
Applying sunscreen.
Yes.
You have to apply your SPF, let it fully soak into your skin, and wash your hands before you put on a delicate chiffon dress or a sage green linen suit.
Because you do not want white, greasy streaks ruining the fabric before the day even begins.
Exactly.
And they also mention skipping the heavy perfume or cologne, which makes perfect chemical sense to me.
Oh, totally.
In 80-degree heat, heavy fragrances mix with your body's natural sweat and the thick humidity, and it just creates this overpowering, cloying cloud around you. Plus, you're basically just ringing the dinner bell for the local bugs.
Right. It's all about minimizing friction with the environment.
So, okay, let's say we execute this perfectly. We followed the guide. The bride is in a stunning A-line chiffon dress. Her hair is anchored in a low chignon.
Perfect.
The groom is rocking a breathable, intentionally wrinkled linen suit. I am standing there in my cotton trousers, having applied my sunscreen early. We have conquered the greenhouse and the fan.
You ready?
But here is the terrifying reality. We still cannot control the actual island.
You cannot control the sudden, isolated rain squalls. You cannot control tourists with metal detectors wandering through your background.
Oh man, the metal detectors.
And you certainly cannot control the intricate web of Hawaiian beach permit regulations.
Which actually brings us to the real secret weapon in our source material, because having the right clothes is only half the battle. You need an anchor, someone to manage the chaos so the couple doesn't have to.
When we analyze the data, one specific name emerged repeatedly as the solution to this exact chaos: Reverend James Chun.
Yes.
He operates the Hawaii Wedding Minister blog and service. We combed through a massive repository of firsthand reviews from couples he has married over the years.
And the overwhelming consensus in these reviews isn't just that he, reads a nice script. It's that he is the ultimate logistical safety net.
Absolutely.
Let's start with the bureaucracy. A lot of people think they can just walk down to Waikiki, draw a heart in the sand, and get married.
It is heavily regulated. Holding a formal ceremony on a public beach in Oahu requires specific liability insurance and state permits from the Department of Land and Natural Resources.
Which sounds incredibly daunting.
Navigating that bureaucratic maze from a laptop thousands of miles away on the mainland causes couples immense stress.
I would lose my mind trying to coordinate that across a 6-hour time difference.
Well, multiple reviews highlighted the massive relief couples felt, because Reverend Chun simply handles the beach permit acquisition as an integrated part of his service.
Oh, that's amazing.
He removes the administrative burden entirely.
But the part of these reviews that really hooked me was how he handles the weather audibles. Because remember that tropical savanna data? Honolulu averages about 16 days of rain a month.
Rain is always looming.
Always. And if you are committed to an outdoor beach ceremony, rain is the ultimate disruptor.
But look at a review we found from a bride named Kylie F. Her original beach location was getting hammered by relentless wind and pouring rain on the day of the ceremony.
Total nightmare scenario.
Instead of forcing the couple to suffer through it, Reverend Chun seamlessly called an audible. He relocated them to a completely different spot that was sheltered from that specific weather pattern.
The reviews list him pivoting to places like the Loop Trail, Honolulu Ridge, or Halona Beach Cove.
Which is so smart.
Right. And if you know the geography of Oahu, that makes brilliant sense. The Loop Trail is elevated with a dense forest canopy that naturally breaks the wind and rain.
Halona is a rocky cove that can shield you depending on which way the storm is blowing.
He just knows the island's microclimate so deeply that if the South Shore is underwater, he knows exactly which ridge has clear skies.
And he does it without hesitating and without transferring any panic to the couple.
He is like an elite wedding point guard.
Oh, I like that.
He's bringing the ball down the court, reading the defense, which in this case is, a localized tropical depression, calling a completely new play at the line of scrimmage, managing the crowd of guests, and just executing flawlessly.
It is a perfect analogy because his court vision extends to the tiny interpersonal details as well. Several reviews noted how he manages the psychological stress of the ceremony itself.
Which is huge, because no matter how prepared you are, when you are standing up there, your sympathetic nervous system kicks in, the adrenaline spikes, you're staring at the person you love, the wind is blowing, your brain goes entirely blank.
You completely lose all capacity to remember the rehearsal choreography.
Exactly.
Reverend Chun understands this biology. Couples reported that he gives them discreet, subtle physical cues throughout the ceremony. A tiny nod here, a small gesture there.
So helpful.
He guides them through the physical movement so they don't have to devote any brain power to remembering where to stand or when to turn. They can just exist in the moment.
He also enforces the unplugged ceremony protocol, which I love. He takes the heat of telling the guests to put their iPads and phones away.
Which is no small feat.
Truly. That way, the professional photographer you paid thousands of dollars for can actually capture the day without a sea of glowing screens in the way.
Speaking of the photographer, my absolute favorite logistical detail came from a review by Tricia Lee Sanchez. She pointed out that right before the grand finale, the first kiss Reverend Chun physically steps completely out of the frame.
I saw that. It is the ultimate pro move.
It demonstrates such a profound understanding of the final product. He recognizes that 20 years from now, the couple wants a pristine, beautiful photo of their first kiss with the ocean in the background.
Not him.
Right. They do not want the officiant awkwardly hovering over their shoulders like a photobomber. He removes himself to give them the perfect shot.
He's throwing the alley-oop to the photographer for the slam dunk. I mean, it really crystallizes the whole thesis of our deep dive today.
It really does.
Pulling off a Hawaiian beach wedding is an exercise in strategic harmony. You need the breathable linen and the flowy chiffon to survive the greenhouse.
You need the flat shoes to conquer the sand.
Yes. And you absolutely need a veteran guide to navigate the chaotic variables of the island itself.
When you align the preparation with the environment rather than fighting it, the data and the reviews overwhelmingly show that an Oahu beach wedding is an unparalleled experience.
You get all the magic and none of the meltdown. So for you listening, if you are ready to keep these stress-free shaka planning vibes going, you really need to look at the visual proof.
I'll highly recommend.
Go visit hawaiiweddingminister.com to see how Reverend Chun anchors these events, and you absolutely must scroll through at Oahu Minister on Instagram.
Even if you're just a guest trying to figure out how a sage green linen suit actually drapes in the trade winds, their feed is the perfect visual textbook for elevated casual.
Seriously, go check it out. But before we wrap up today, I promised you a massive twist regarding the weather data we analyzed earlier.
Oh yes, the twist.
We have spent this entire deep dive strategizing about how to survive the heat, right? How to beat the intense summer sun, the 80% humidity, and the sweltering greenhouse effect.
Defending against the constant warmth has been our primary objective today.
But when you look closely at the historical averages, a fascinating anomaly jumps out.
It really does.
The months of February and March are actually the coldest and rainiest months of the entire year in Honolulu. That is when you see the lowest ocean temperatures, the most dense cloud cover, and rainfall hitting its absolute peak.
The meteorological records totally confirm it. You are looking at up to 1.81 inches of average rainfall, with the daily highs dipping down toward the low to mid 70s.
So this raises a really provocative question that I literally cannot stop thinking about. If millions of people are constantly fighting the heat, the sweat, and the glaring sun to capture that classic bright postcard beach wedding.
What if they have it all backward?
Exactly. What if the ultimate authentic Hawaiian beach wedding actually requires abandoning the sunset and sunscreen fantasy entirely?
You're suggesting just leaning into the anomaly.
Think about the atmosphere. What if the most romantic, unforgettable move is actually to embrace a moody, dramatic, rain-swept ceremony in the dead of winter?
Oh, I can picture that.
Just you, your partner, the dark, crashing waves of the Pacific, and a beautifully tailored linen suit that actually gets to do its job without you sweating to death.
No tourists in the background.
No sunburns. Just the raw, wild elements of the island.
It would fundamentally solve the humidity problem we started with.
It's something to chew on the next time you look at a perfectly manicured, sunny beach photo. Sometimes the most brilliant way to beat the heat of the greenhouse is just to step outside and stand in the rain.
That wraps up our deep dive into island style. Hopefully you're feeling confident about choosing those linens and ditching the stilettos for your big day. If you need a hand navigating the logistics or finding the perfect spot on Oahu, Reverend James Chun and our team are here to make it effortless. Until next time, stay salty, stay hitched, and we'll see you on the sands of Oahu.